Welcome back. As mentioned in the previous video, we're starting a new style of vlog where we're going to be traveling a lot more over the US, and today we've decided to take you on a trip to where, Selena?
I should do what Ant does and go, oh, I forgot it. We are going to Palm Springs in California. I'm actually there for Sunday and Monday, well, part of Sunday, most of Monday for a work conference. But like we said, we're going to be out more in the USA, learning more cities, and I'm encouraging Ant to join me as well on those trips.
We're going to take a pit stop along the way to a place called Joshua Tree, which we hear a lot, but mostly in adverts in the US. There's an advert that constantly talks about Joshua Tree. I can't remember what it's for. An insurance?
Maybe. I always hear it from people. Everyone always tells me it's one of the, when they're doing road trips, it's one of the places, a national park in California that they always go to. And I didn't realize how close that was to Palm Springs. So it's convenient because on the way there, we'll stop at Joshua Tree for an hour or two, finally visit it, and then go to Palm Springs after.
You may notice that we're in a different car, and we'd like you to guess which car it is, and I'll insert a little clip of us walking up and down Tuesday. I think we have a choice of a Polestar, which is an electric car, or a convertible Mustang. I think that's how it works. There's loads of other cars here, but these seem the most...
Pretty much anything on these roads we have had an interesting time at the rental car, and I don't think I've ever experienced this. Normally you just show up to Hertz, you have your row, you pick your car and you go. And we first of all, we made the mistake of thinking that we could go for an electric car. Where we're going, the range was enough, but it meant that we would have needed a charge point at some time before then so that we could continue on to Palm Springs, but we couldn't find anywhere. So we realized the electric car is not going to work. So then we decided we would go for a Mustang instead, something different to what we normally drive. Fine, picked that, got in the car, then ended up queuing for ages because there was an issue with the car in front. But we get there, we went through, and that was a breeze. She took my details, Ant's details very quickly. We're on our way. Once we got to a person to deal with us, then we're driving, and I look to my side and I noticed there's a gap in my window that it doesn't seal, and I'm thinking maybe that it's just not shut. So Ant goes to close it for me. No, there's a gap in the window, just here in the corner. So we're gonna go back, and we asked you to guess which car. We're guessing which car now. We don't know, so there's no point making you guess because we can't even guess what we're going to get. Take a guess which car we're in now. I don't even know at this point because we've changed so many times. But we're on our way. We're on our way. Morning has not gone as planned, and really I wanted to be leaving the rental car place around 10:15ish, and actually we got there well in time because usually it's quick. You pick your car and you just go. It's got pink box here. That's why I had to shout earlier.
We pulled over in Prim, didn't we, sir?
Yes.
To go to Subway. We go into Subway. There is no Subway. It exists, there's just no one there doing anything. So another fail. It's just, maybe it's a sign we should just pack up, go back home, write this whole trip off. We finally made it. It was a very arduous journey. It ended up being, I don't know, how long would you say? It's probably 4 hours of driving, but 6 hours from when we left home. Yeah, which was far longer than it needed to be. So we decided not to do Joshua Tree this afternoon. It would have been a waste of time. We would have only have had about 30 minutes, which doesn't make sense. And we're still here across the weekend, and then we've got the journey back. So we've decided we'll make either time across the weekend or on the way back, and know that we can actually have time at Joshua Tree National Park. So we've checked into the hotel. It's actually really nice. It was a boutique hotel. I can't remember how or why I picked this one, but it's the Alcazar Palm Springs. And I recently learned that this is where people come to go to Coachella. Behind it, the Palm Springs is Coachella Valley, basically. So yeah, that's the big famous music festival, isn't it? For those who might not know. I don't really know much about it. I've heard the word, and I just found out it's right here. We passed Coachella Boulevard or something, so they've named them all based around Coachella, which is quite fun. Yeah, so for the rest of the night, I think we're just going to hit the town. I don't know what there is here.
But Palm Springs is well known for its restaurants, bars, so we're going to go for a walk, have some good food, and make what we can of the rest of the day, which is not much.
Where are we going to, Sally?
We are going to a place called Tacquila. Tacquila.
Which serves tequila-based drinks and Mexican food.
I think so, yeah. That's it. The cocktail menu is definitely tequila-based, and then tacos, I guess. But it's one of the most, according to the reviews, one of the most popular places for that here in downtown Palm Springs.
This light is very bright. We've got lots of new equipment. Hopefully it's good. I think you can get through the front, just through there. So we're gonna have a look at or have some food. We'll share some of the stuff that we have with you and the final cost of the bill. We're walking to the restaurant now, and Selena said it's a real downtown, not a fake downtown. America does have a lot of fake downtowns.
Yeah. But I get it. I get how that might sound funny. So interesting here in Palm Springs, most of the restaurants from what I was looking for booking have seating outdoors, even when it's quite cold. But I'm guessing they have fire pits, heaters, but a lot of the dining here is for outdoor dining, which I do generally like, but it is a bit too cold for me.
What I'm mostly interested in is how much it is in comparison to Vegas, because people say California's expensive, but I'm not sure compared to Vegas now. Don't disappoint your followers. I do wonder how we finished up our meal. It was actually pretty good. You don't get a lot for your money, but it's still, I would say, cheaper than Vegas, or similar.
We have a similar Mexican restaurant in Tivoli Village, and everyone raves about that place, and it's probably, I would say their prices are more expensive than here. But it was very, very good.
It's pretty good. It was pretty cold though. I think it would have been warmer sitting outside because they've got the overhead patio heaters. Welcome to day 2 in Palm Springs. We have just got up and the sun is shining, and it feels really nice because it's been horribly cloudy, unusually so in Vegas for what, 3 weeks?
For 3 weeks, yes. We've been getting the trail end of the Californian storms. So
we've come to California to avoid it. So it's really nice waking up. We're going to head to breakfast. We'll share that with you and the costs and what we have, and then we're going to head to where we go.
I think Indian Canyon. I think that's what it's called.
Luckily I've got mine.
We have made it to Indian Canyon. What is it called? What is it called actually? Indian Canyon. It was as simple as that.
Indian Canyons.
Canyons, there you go. We haven't really planned this. Sometimes when we come to places, I will spend quite a bit of time before. I think Ant's mentioned this in other videos where I will plan it, whereas he's not that.
Selena is a planner, detail, read 50,000 articles, read the last reviews from the last 107 years.
But, no, not the I always look at the newest, is what I tend to do.
No, I'm talking about newest back 107 years.
No.
Yeah.
But the main reason is, from that you find out where not to go, the issues with times, like the aerial tram, I found out how busy that is, and it saves us from a lot of pain. But with this one we didn't, but it's fine because it's not like...
I think hiking trails are easy.
Yeah, because they're never going to be...
And you spread out.
Yeah, and it's not like a famous national park. I think if you're going to Zion on a Saturday, you're going to probably plan that one out. Or not, if you're Ant.
Yeah, you just turn up, do what you do and go home. Keep life simple. But this is a weird one. Usually with national and state parks, one, if it's a national park, there's a pass that's about $80 a year, and you can go to all of them as many times as you want across that year. State parks are usually $15 per car. Here it's $14 per person.
Was it 14? I thought it was 12.
Might have been, sorry, it might have been 12. It was either 12 or 14. We'll insert something. So $24 to get in here.
Which is a bit strange, I find, because they usually do it per vehicle. And I found that a bit odd that they were checking how many people were entering.
Made it to the desert oasis. There's a nice running stream, and for anybody in the UK and the US that's watched Bear Grylls, I've learned that if you follow it up, you can drink from it, because hopefully it shouldn't be mangy, or if it's run through a lot of rocks, looks clean enough, you can scoop it up, boil it and drink. So we might try that later, although we don't have anything to boil it with. But it's quite nice here. This is better than any walk hike that we've been on so far at Red Rock, even though we've only walked about 5 minutes.
Anne mentioned something in the last clip about this is more interesting than any Red Rock hike. He's not done many hikes. I've actually done a good few hikes now in Red Rock, and when you go in, I personally think they're great. This is very different. This is more like a tropical oasis that you find yourself in, but Red Rock definitely has some hikes that are really nice and a bit more interesting for me, in the sense of this is very much a walking hike at the moment, but in Red Rock there's ones where you can scramble, climb the rocks, and the scenery is really different depending. So one is very much the dark rock, you're climbing over these cream colours, reds. The other section is full of trees, so we've got different opinions when it comes to Red Rock hiking.
So I'm going to make the attempt to get all the way across. I think Selena might try first, so I'm going to record her. You can make it. They're going to get wet regardless. You've already got your foot in. You didn't even get part way across. Briefly come over to the other side, and this whole place is mountain biking heaven. All of this you could traverse on a mountain bike, especially a nice e-bike. You could ride all of this up here, up into the mountains. That's all I think about when I come to these places. It'd be really fun to get slightly wet, but it's a nice day. I'm enjoying this. Up on the other hill, over there, it's all grass, and I'm guessing it depends on where it's facing to the sun. But over on this side, it's all desert. Not sure if it'll pick up on the camera, but up there is grass. Yeah. Ah, you picked a complex route. There's a really easy route without having to go in the water. Spot, probably a mile from where we parked up, and we've hit 2 separate trails, and both of them require you crossing water. The first one is really, really easy. It's just rocks, but most of the rocks are in the water, and Selena's bought running shoes, so her feet will get soaked. So we've come to the second section, which requires a crossing over, I guess it's a cut tree that bridges over the stream, which I'll insert some clips of, and she's struggling. Bearing in mind, she's the one who tells me to go hiking all the time. What do you think, Sally?
I didn't think we were coming hiking on this trip.
What did you fail at?
I failed at getting across the bridge. I think the funniest thing is when we got there, I thought nothing of it. And I think had I not even heard, and I'm not saying it's not Anton's fault, it's just I don't think had I have just walked across, I think I would have just done it. The moment it dawned on me that I could fall and break my back, as Anne said afterwards when we were discussing.
That's not what I said. I said to her, be safe, be confident, get across safely, and then she's like, oh, you've made it worse. Yeah,
because honestly at that point I didn't even consider that, and I think the moment that dawned, and I'm not saying he was wrong for saying that, it just the moment he said that I just went, oh yeah, if I fall, and that's when it all went wrong and I didn't do it. But old people went across it fine.
Yeah, everybody went across fine. So having come on it wouldn't be my first hike, but it's the first time I've done any type of walking outside of Red Rock. This is definitely better, a lot more interesting. So it seems in the mile or a mile and a half that we may have went, it's mostly obstacles and interesting things that you see along the way, like the stream, the tiny waterfall, the palm formation,
It's a fun one in that context. I would say though, he's not done other hikes in where he's done one, and that was probably
it was just walking.
Yeah, it was just walking, and it was a very boring one.
It's very
I've done
boring.
2 or 3 others, and you're scrambling, like you're climbing over rocks.
Next time I'm going to get her to take the GoPro, because we've just been here and there was like a 2-inch walk onto a log and it didn't happen. So if we don't see it, it didn't happen. Next time I'm going to strap you with the
pictures of me
Have
hiking. Yeah, that's with Maria. So yeah, that's different.
Our trip was over, but we've come to the end part of the drive. I think it's an out and back drive, whereas Red Rock is a looped 13-mile loop.
Yeah.
This is out and back. We've come to the out bit, and it's like a gorge.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It's got a stream running between the palm trees. I don't know whether they've been planted or they're naturally there. They kind of look like they've been placed there, but maybe not.
It's visually quite impressive in terms of what you see here. Very different to what we get in Vegas. And I was saying to Anne, I think for me it reminds me of what I'd expect of hiking in Hawaii a bit, with the green, the palm trees, the hills, and the streams. So very, very nice.
Yeah, and I said if she did say, if someone landed me here, didn't tell me where I was, and I said it's Hawaii, I would probably believe them. So part of being in the US is the fact that when you travel to different states, or even within the same state, the geography, the landscape changed so much. And it's something I've never experienced in the UK. And I traveled nationally. I've been from Newcastle, Liverpool, all the way down to Portsmouth, Plymouth. The only thing you get, I would say, is towards Exeter and forget the other place, the right down in the southwest coast, it feels a bit more like it's a beach area, but otherwise it doesn't change that much in the UK. Here you drive 300-400 miles and it can feel like an entirely different country. This feels more like Hawaii, Turkey. We went to a place in Turkey that had a gorge that was really nice, very similar to this. Where we live feels like the mountains, suburbia, and when I travel to Florida it feels like a tropical location, and I really enjoy that. You're staying in the same country, you can drive it, you can get on a plane, hire a car. Celine looks like she's having lots of fun in here. So I really enjoy that part of living in the US versus the UK. And I know that before Brexit, we were open to travel in the EU freely. So it was kind of a joint country, but it just wasn't the same as here. It feels like a country that shares a lot of commonalities, but also vastly different in terms of its geography. It says, when flooded, turn around, don't drown.
Driving back to downtown Palm Springs now, and Indian Canyons is about 15 minutes from downtown, so it's quite conveniently located, but the drive from downtown to Indian Canyons is quite impressive in seeing the houses, the residential areas that are here. It's really nice. Every time me and Anne come to California, I always know there is just something about California that we really like, in how the roads are, the houses, and maybe it is because it's
dude in tight denim jean hot pants.
Okay, and that's what excites Anton.
No, I think it's just the correct term now, I think, is queerness. But I love the fact that it's just, we would say things like bohemian back in the day. It's just so, it's eclectic,
we like it. It's
different.
Yeah,
it feels just
we like the mix.
Yeah,
we like the
nice.
Ununiformity of it all, that it's not cookie
non-uniformity.
Yeah. Isn't that right? Yeah, and it's not cookie cutter. And I know we live in Summerlin, which is very cookie cutter place, but it's the best of what we think you can get in Vegas.
We finished up a chicken meal, which we forgot to record for you because they were really busy and they were trying their best, but it was way too busy for the amount of service they had. And Celine said their tardiness caused us to fail at our job as well. I don't know how. That sounds like excuses people give at work.
No, because I think normally if they're quick with the service, you're thinking about the food coming, but because it was so slow, I think we ended up just talking about other stuff, so my mind wasn't on the food at that point.
But I do remember it was very tasty. We ordered the whole chicken,
coleslaw,
and a key lime pie. We're just arriving in the official downtown area, I think. Selena told me that when you see these archways, that's when the official downtown starts.
That's not what I said.
That's what I took from what she suggested.
I said I noticed a lot of the downtowns in the US have these like arch bit going across.
Which you can extrapolate from the town, the official downtown areas start once the archways start.
One thing I don't understand here is how people walk here in a skirt or shorts in this weather, because it's not that warm. And here's me with jeans, a hoodie, a jacket, and then people are here in shorts. It's like Northern England people. They're a different species of southerners. Just found this shop, and I guess I would describe this as an extreme sock shop, but I'm trying to find a sock that calls out to me, and I'm not sure which one yet. We've just walked, we think about 1.5 miles from where our hotel is into downtown Palm Springs, and it definitely gets a lot busier about 1 mile in, I would say, where the shops, restaurants, music. It is Saturday night, so we would expect it to be busier than a day in the week. Always happens at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I really like it. There's the shops, the restaurants, the bars. It's a nice place to walk.
Would you recommend people come here? Or would you recommend, so this or La Jolla, which we went to recently?
I really like La Jolla, and I like it because it's by the beach and the sea and the view. So I prefer La Jolla over here. I wouldn't say one or the other. I think this in itself is a nice place to come to. Here I think as well you can find a variety of places in terms of price, whereas La Jolla generally was all expensive in that area, whereas here it seems a bit more normal, especially in this part where there's a mix of shops and restaurants and bars, everything from an Irish pub through to your craft cocktails and beers, whereas La Jolla had a very...
And it's very condensed, La Jolla, it's very small.
Yeah.
The best part of it is the fact that, no, we won't cross now, is the fact that you're on the beach overlooking the ocean in La Jolla, whereas here I would say I would prefer this
here
outside of the beach.
To live, actually that's a question, where would you choose to live between here and La Jolla?
Money no object.
Yeah, money no object.
Probably there because you've got San Diego and LA close by.
I think so as well. I think I would pick La Jolla over.
Oh, that's great.
To the art museum, which we haven't been to, but we've just walked outside and taken a picture with the Marilyn Monroe statue. I think you have to pay, I can't remember, how much is it?
I've actually forgotten, you did say $30, was it?
Maybe, I don't know, between 20 and 30.
No, that was for the zoo.
Oh, okay. I can't remember. There is an entrance fee to go in, but Anne was like, no, I'm not paying to go to an art museum. But if you're here on a Thursday, they have a Thursday kind of festival in the evening, and then it's free to go into the art museum. So if it was free, we would have gone. Just finished our meal at the Tropicale, which was a very unusual restaurant.
I don't even know. It's an eclectic mix of
very eclectic.
Some African art on the wall.
Yeah, the pink tones.
It's like an Indian restaurant in London.
Only in
with the pink
yeah,
lights.
so me and Ant were looking at the lighting. It's like, where do you see this? You never see this in restaurants. Oh, Indian restaurants in London.
Yeah, it was a mix of Thai and other Asian cuisines with some Mexican and
Mediterranean.
It was very strange. The food was really nice though.
I always find it interesting when me and Ant go on these trips because we always end up talking to people, and I think those conversations with other people are sometimes highlights of our trips because you always take something away. People's opinions, extra nuggets of information that you didn't know. True or false doesn't really matter. It's always quite interesting.
I think because we're inoffensive, because we're not from here, people assume you don't have a political lean within the American system, and you're not going to offend us by saying something that might offend somebody you're not sure their political lean, so they just open up and tell us all kinds of things.
We take and we'll use ammunition.
We use against them.
But that's the end of our first proper day in Palm Springs, and tomorrow the plan is to do Joshua Tree, which we was going to do on the first day, but I think that's going to work out much better for us in terms of having the day to enjoy. So here's to tomorrow.